Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to Throwbacks, where we talk all things cool and retro. Today, I pose an interesting question to all the G.I. Joe fans out there. Is Hasbro double dipping with the retro line? Are we just going to keep buying the same figures? Or are these figures that we want, or we need, or we like both versions of? Or, we get a little taste of the right version before. Or, it's cool to have different versions. Do you like the more stylized versions and you're passing on the retro? Or do you even care? Is it all the same? Let's talk about it. Let's get started. Now, we're going to compare some figures real quick. We've got the retro line Beachhead. And here is the original Beachhead, which is a little different. We'll compare the both here in a minute, and the brand new Viper, which I just got, and he's pretty cool. This new version, I think, is really what anybody really just wanted all along. And there's the one we had already, not too different, but different enough. And how different is different enough? And Destro, which I wasn't gonna get, but he was on sale, and I thought, okay, just a subtle difference, but I could turn down a Destro for $7. But then we've got some clear differences. We've got Duke from a few years ago, and then we've got Retro Duke, which I think aesthetically hits the mark, but I don't know which shirt color I like better, to be honest with you. It's those little details. And speaking of little details, Storm Shadow on the right was the one we originally got with the weird Archer gauntlet things, and then Storm Shadow on the left is what I wanted all along, with just the regular I don't know what you call little forearm wraps or whatever they are, and just little things like that to me do make a difference. Do they make a difference to you? Do you care? Rock and Roll was another one that had some big differences, to be honest. This is the one they came out with a year or two ago. He's a little bit different as far as aesthetic. He's got some tattoos. This one doesn't. Maybe it's like the younger Rock and Roll is like the older one. Truth be told, this is the design from the comics from 20 years ago that we briefly saw, but this is more faithful to the design from 1982's action figure line, which is what I wanted. Which did you want? Which did you get? Or do you care about either one of them? Let me know. Cobra Commander, huge difference. We still haven't got one with a hood, which would have been a perfect pack-in for the retro line. But, this guy here, I don't know what any of this is supposed to mean. It's like they just made up their own thing that was Cobra Commander. Only thing similar is the helmet. And he doesn't look bad. It's just, when I want Cobra Commander, I want this right here. This is what I want. That's the Cobra Commander that I want on my shelf in my collection. And also, some people probably didn't care about this. Differences, but trying to hold the camera in these at the same time, sorry. The Firefly, the first Firefly we got, was he bad? No. But this is the Firefly we're familiar with, that we wanted. Not this one with all the crazy stuff that, yes, it's modern, it's a modern take on a old character, but again, it's an old character. And I've said time after time, I only think G.I. Joe really works in the 80s. Just throw the stones now, but that's my opinion. You can't modernize something like G.I. Joe, because it was a very time, it's just era-specific thing, in my opinion. And let's look at these guys. Now, the undeniable advantage of getting the retro line on this kind of card back is the quality of it. If you're a carded collector, getting basically a box like this kind of sucks. I mean, even with the you know, transparent window and everything. You're like, well, okay, you know, I mean, there's some artwork on it that's pretty cool, but at the end of the day, it's a box. It's not very interesting. You know, it may not, you may not have anywhere to really put this, you know, even if it does still have the little hook at the top, which some don't. But when you get this, I mean, this is a nice quality card. I've yet to see one of these really messed up because they're just so sturdy. And normally I don't care about cards, so because I open everything, but these really do deserve some love. These are hard to open, which makes it also harder for people in the store to, like, you know, yank out a figure and switch it or steal it or switch it out or whatever. And you know, it comes with the file cards, which I always thought were cool. Only about you know, a fraction of this is, you know, useful, but it's kind of cool. You know, it has the other figures that are coming out in the wave with him, and he does look good on it. You know, it's got all this. You're not going to lose, you know, the 900 accessories if they're in the thing with the figure, so that's, you know, win-win. And of course the artwork is very nice. It is new, it is updated, but it's not bad, and I like it. So the new Viper looks really amazing, you know, just leaps and bounds, in my opinion, above the one we got before, which was a good offering. It's you know, it's just little differences, you know. And there are many. But I think this one is more faithful to the vintage figure, which is what I'm looking for. You know, this, you can still keep this Viper as, like, you know, maybe he's an NCO or an officer or something. Maybe he's a little different, but there are differences, and I think it's cool. Like, one good thing about the retro line is they all come with stands. These G.I. Joe classified figures, sometimes they really suck at, like, standing up on their own. So stands are not an unwelcomed little pack-in item. So there's always that to consider. Now, some of these figures, you know, you may feel like I'm nitpicking, but I mean, look at Beachhead. I mean, that's night and day difference. I mean, this, when I think of Beachhead, this is what I think of. Now, yes, you know, for many this will be close enough, good enough, and it was for me until I saw this guy. So it's almost like they're, you know, kind of wetting our palate with these, just the regular release, and then they're like, well, you know, if you wait another year or two, here's the figure that you actually want. You know, so, like, I'm starting to wonder, like, I'm getting more and more these figures I'm replacing. I'm like, what do I do with these? You know, I might put them on eBay. Do I take them to the, you know, sell them at the toy show? Or do I keep them? Is there any of them that I like that much? And the answer keeps coming up is no. So, I mean, is Hasbro really, are they double dipping? You know, are they taking us for suckers and making us buy multiples of the same figure? You know, for a Viper, cool. That's, you know, you need, you know, arguably more than one or two Vipers, but do you need another Beachhead? Do you need another Firefly? No, you don't. Yeah, and now I guess I just got this Dr. Mindbender of the Retro Collection, and now for figures like him, that's great, because he was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. He was like $80, and I was not going to spend that on a Dr. Mindbender, so putting him in the Retro line was fantastic. Hopefully they do the same with Serpentor, because I would really like to get that Serpentor without the air chariot. So what do you think? And then I bought a Destro, which, I mean, putting them side by side, there's not that much difference. There's not. I don't know. But it's little differences. To some, it makes a big difference. To some, it doesn't. Now, I like the fact that his pouch right here is not painted red, because I always thought that kind of bothered me. I don't know if it's OCD or what. But, I mean, I considered painting this black until I was like, I just saw this Destro at Walmart on a clearance. Was like, oh, I'll just get that one. You know, $7, whatever, cool. You know, $7 is one thing, but, you know, we start replacing these guys, you know, 25, 27 bucks a pop. You know, when are we going to start just keeping the original one? What do you guys think? Do you keep the original one? Let me know. So that is my brief little rant on Hasbro somewhat taking advantage and somewhat giving us what we want. Which is it? You decide. Now, there's some figures I really want to see in the retro line, like, you know, a more cartoon-looking Zartan, you know, maybe a new Snake Eyes that, you know, is a little more streamlined. But, oh, and definitely an Iron Grenadier that looks more like his vintage self. Are there ones that you're looking forward to? Are they just peg warming? Do you even see these? I know some places will get like 3 or 4 of these and they peg warm and they never get more, and it's kind of a distribution nightmare. I always try to get them either on Amazon or like Big Bad Toy Store, just to have them, you know, and if I find them, you know, for cheaper, like at Walmart or Target, then, you know, I'll just cancel that pre-order and keep the one that I have in hand with a not scratched up blister pack. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, please give me a like and subscribe. We have new content every single day. We are going to go ahead and throw one back. So on behalf of me and Bad Brad, until next time, we will see ya.